Hello, folks. I am back, and I'm here to talk about PCCs or PCC type firearms that your wife would like to shoot with you at the range. Lately, I've been going to the working at the range, and I've been seeing a lot of men with their wives, and they're shooting PCCs. A lot of mistakes that happen with most guys is they will bring their AR-15s and expect their wives to shoot something like a 5.56 or a 308, and it makes for a very bad and uncomfortable situation for these ladies that are there with their husbands. But I think the PCCs are really good for the husband and wife to work together in shooting. I'm going to give you my top three, but I don't have all the top three that on the list here. I'm just going to show you what I have. And just to let you know, for YouTube's sake, I have the magazines in these firearms, but all of these firearms are empty. There's nothing in them or anything of that nature. So let me get right to it. My number three that I would pick to be in my top three would be the Hour Mpx. This is a nice firearm. It shoots 9mm caliber, so there's not going to be that crazy recoil or anything of that nature. One of the other things about the Mpx line, it is piston driven, so you will definitely won't have that harsh recoil that you'll find with other firearms. Also right here, this is also a Hour Mpx, but this is the copperhead version. As you see here, I have the suppressor on here. What makes this pretty unique about having a suppressor on the PCC, also, like I said, since this is piston driven, it's not a lot of recoil, but this dampens the recoil even further. So it's enjoyable for, let's say, your significant other to be out there on the range to shoot, and it gives some variety instead of using your usual handguns. The thing about handguns is it's a little bit of work to work with handguns. A lot of times firearms are too snappy, handguns are too snappy. But the women I see that come there with their husbands give them a PC, and they are really enjoying it. Here's another PCC I have. This is the Cnmg Banshee. This is in 45 ACP. This is more traditional to what an AR-15 is because you have your buffer tube, but it works on a radio delayed blowback. It has the recoil is dampened, but not as harsh. But it really does the job, and also can add to more fun. One thing I'm just reiterating again is a lot of times when women go out on the range with their husbands, sometimes their husbands get a little carried away and they give them these 308s and things like that. And it makes for a really, really bad experience. And that's not a good thing if you're bringing your wife or your girlfriend to the range. One of the other things that is good about a PCC is if you have a family, you could bring your son or daughter, and this would also it's just soft enough so they can shoot without any craziness of from like higher calibers. A lot of 12-year-olds that I see at the range I work at, they pretty much have fun shooting these. You know, sometimes the 22 gets a little bit boring and they kind of outgrow it. So this is another step in that direction. So what I'm going to do is pause up on this camera, and I'm going to show you some other PCCs, my number one and my number two that I like in this category. Like I said, this is number three, and I will get back to you. Just stand by, please. Hello, folks. Now I finally got back where I normally usually film my videos. Okay, now I went through the MPX as my number three. I'm going to go with, here's number two. Number two is going to be the PC Charger. The PC Charger is a really good and nice compact PCC. It has a lot of very good features on there. As you see here, you have the area where you could put a suppressor on it, just like on my other one here. Well, the copperhead that I was showing you. You can also put a brace on there. You would see there's a spot there for a brace up there. You can put optics on it, and a lot of people I know have done a lot of things with the PC chargers, even put in binary triggers, etc. with that. But this is also another firearm that, let's say, you and your wife and your kids can go out and shoot this without having a lot of problems or anything like that. It shoots very accurate, and it gives you some fun and some excitement with it. And like I said, it makes your shooting experience your your wife and your kids very well. Let me go into, let's say, number one. My number one PCC that I'm going to mention here, and I know I just brushed over the PC charger a little bit, but I'm just going to go with that, and it is the CZ Scorpion. Now, the CZ Scorpion is a really good firearm. A lot of people have done various modifications to make it personally their own. I'm trying to widen up this picture a little bit for you. So, yeah, so a lot of people have done various modifications, whatnot. They put braces, or they can put, let's say, uh, optics, and I've seen these it's suppressed as well, ramped up triggers. But a lot of people, I know a couple that comes into our uh, our range, and they really enjoy this. She had a recent problem. She had one of those blade braces, and I'm going to pull up what that is. The blade braces that you see right here, this blade right here, under recoil, depending on what type of firearm it is, a lot of the blade braces will have are not suited well, especially if you have something that's pretty more like, uh, let's say, a blowback design. So if you look at the, let's see if I can get it here. The PC Charger has more of, let's say, like a blowback design, and if you put like a that particular type of brace, the blade brace, it can be a little irritating to the shoulder. So she was having a problem with that. So I recommended her to go and to get something like the SB Tactical brace. The SB Tactical makes various different braces, so that would actually help out, let's say, for her shooting experience, where she wouldn't have to worry about the harshness of a blade that's hitting into her shoulder. So, excuse me for bumping into the camera, and excuse the reflection of the light bulb in the back. So this is the poor man's way of doing some lighting, etc. So you can use a lot of various different braces on your PCCs. There's that particular style. There's another particular style there. So SB Tactical makes a lot of different style braces for PCCs. And I would recommend using that type of style instead of the brace. This gets old very quickly. It that blade just kind of like digs into your shoulder or whatnot. Now there are other. So like I said, the CZ is going to be at exactly my number one. My number two is going to be the PC Charger, and of course, I am going to be partial to my MPX. Like I said, the MPX is a little bit pricey, so that's why it made number three, because basically the pricing is very high. Especially, you're lucky you got your wife out to the range, and now you're going to spend a lot of money. The PC Charger is at a very decent price point, as well as the Scorpion is at a very good price point. Now, I'm going to give an honorable mention because I see a lot of wives shoot this as well. It's going to be the MMP 1522. Now, this is actually a 22. It is not the a 9 millimeter or piece or 45 or whatnot, but still, these are very good firearms. People really like those, especially when they have young children, when they're first starting out shooting. And this is a great start for, let's say, If your wife or girlfriend still wants to go with the 22, that's fine. But she can also, later on down that road, you can upgrade to the 9mm versions of the PCCs that I just mentioned. So I'm going to close this up, and I'm going to mention there are two handguns. Now, no, I mentioned PCCs, but there are two handguns that wives also like. And it took me a little bit by surprise, but a lot of wives particularly like these two. Believe it or not, it's going to be the 6 Hour X5 Legion. It's something about this particular firearm that wives like shooting, and a lot of times they shoot this with iron sights, and they are really dead on accurate. A lot of them are shooting from I'm going to say anywhere between 5 and 7 yards. And even though it's a little weighty, so first complaint is usually they say, "Oh, the gun's a little weighty." But when they start shooting the firearm, they really start to enjoy it because they get to shoot and hit everything accurate. Another thing that this weight does, a lot of the other polymer firearms out there, the firearms are too snappy. A lot of guys make the mistake. They always say, say a woman needs a smaller firearm so they can shoot it easily. It's actually the reverse. It's the bigger the firearm, it's going to be less snappy, and sometimes if it's a little weighty, it would help. Women will get used to that weight, and they will be happy to use that, because I know a lot of women that with their husbands they share this particular firearm. The second firearm, believe it or not, it's another weighty firearm. And remember, this is a striker fired firearm. The other one I'm going to show you is going to be the CZ Shadow 2. Now, we have this as a rental. We put these in our rental cases. And women, when they shoot this firearm, they want to buy it immediately. I figured they wouldn't want a firearm like this because it's so weighty, but they really like this firearm. They shoot as accurate just like they do uh, with the X5 Legion, but they like the iron sights. And the thing about it is too, what got me is it's the double action trigger. So they went from a striker fire to shooting a double action, and then the next, as you know, with a double action, single action gun, the second shot's going to be in single action. And they seem to master it with this firearm, and I attribute that to the trigger being so smooth and double action that they don't even worry about this. Uh, I'm going to flip it on the other side. I had some damage to this firearm. I dropped it and marred it a little bit, so I'm going to send this off to Cajun Gunworks. You know I like them very much, so they're going to repair some of this damage for me. It went down a set of cement steps, and that was not fun. Left some more scratches there. But I'll be sending this to Cajun to get this pretty much fixed up. But like I said, these are the two handguns that women like to shoot at the range. And guys, if you're married, and guys, if you have a girlfriend, just take her to the range, let her shoot these two handguns, and they will love you for it. Well, that's all I have, folks. I just wanted to mention that, and this is something that I've noticed. I usually bring up this stuff because I noticed trends that go on at the range. So if you have a PCC, if you're interested in, like, let's say a Scorpion or Mpx or the Ruger, I would strongly go with either the Ruger or the Scorpion. I think those would be excellent choices. If you want to buy one to share so you guys can shoot, she's going to love you for it. Other than that, folks, happy shooting, stay safe, #2A.